Hello everyone, welcome to another video. My name is Kemal AA and this is another Chelsea transfer news video where I'll be speaking about all the latest stories surrounding Chelsea in the past 24 hours and big news on Declan Rice reported by The Athletic. We'll be speaking about the extent of Christian Pulisic's injury as we have received an update from the club, from Frank Lampard himself in press conferences, and of course reliable journalists surrounding Chelsea reported the extent and the length of Christian Pulisic's injury, and it could be worse. It could be worse. We'll be delving into all the details, everything regarding the injury and all the latest news, and also giving my thoughts, opinions on this Declan Rice move that we are plotting for the January transfer window. And do we really need him, especially with the talent that we have at the squad, and even on loan, like Stevie Lampard and Billy Gilmore. But before I do get into the video, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and comment down below your thoughts, opinions in the comment section below. But without further ado, let's get straight into today's Chelsea transfer news video. Now, starting off with the first story, I want to speak about the main man, Declan Rice. Main man Declan Rice reported and broken by the Athletic, and it was written by Simon Johnson, a well-connected Chelsea journalist who has a lot of connections and inside sources within the Chelsea Football Club. So when he speaks and writes articles, 9 times out of 10 he's correct. He's very reliable. He's one of the most reliable journalists. So anything the Athletic reports or breaks out, I usually trust because they're very reliable and so should you. So for me, if you're going to trust any source or outlet, Athletic is the one to go for. And they basically say that Chelsea will make a move to sign Declan Rice in January. They didn't make the move in the summer due to failing to offload 2 other players. Now, for me, this is really interesting because we all know we wanted to sign Declan Rice in the summer window that just went. Frank Lampard is a massive fan, he's a huge admirer, and of course with the formation he wants to play, I made a video a couple of days ago, make sure you go check out the tactics, and the 4-3-3 is the way forward for the rest of the season with those 2 attacking eights, and you've got the DM, the athletic DM in the position, and currently we deploy N'Golo Kante in that position, but with Declan Rice, who's physically stronger, more suited to the style, who's athletic but also, better on the ball compared to N'Golo Kante. That's why Lampard, likes and admires Declan Rice, because he suits the characteristics of Frank Lampard, and of course he has natural leadership abilities, and of course he did graduate from Cobham a few years ago and he was unfortunately released. Now, the main question I want to propose to you, and the main question I ask myself and to many Chelsea fans is, do we actually need Declan Rice? Now, if you think of our squads in general, we have Jorginho, Mateo Kovacic, who those 2 players don't really suit the system that we're playing. We've got Mason Mount, we've got Kai Havertz, we've got Ruben Loftus-Cheek on loan. I know Declan Rice is more of an athletic DM, so really it rules those players out of the equation because, like I said, Ross Barkley, Loftus-Cheek, Mount, Havertz, these are more attacking players. But out of the DM players that we could have, we already have N'Golo Kante, we have Jorginho, we have Kovacic. Now, out of all 3, the system that Frank Lampard wants to deploy, N'Golo Kante suits it the most because he's the most athletic and, of course, the most defensive-minded out of the 3. But what happens to the futures with Jorginho and Kovacic? Kovacic was our player of the year last year. Jorginho looks like he's being frozen out. And when it says here at the end of the article that because we couldn't offload 2 players. Now, one of them for certain is definitely Jorginho. Frank Lampard, yes, he does rate Jorginho and he is our vice-captain, but he doesn't suit Lampard's system. He isn't in Lampard's long-term plans, and he wanted to sell him in the summer. However, because of the frailties and the limited amount of times that we had in the transfer window towards the end, we couldn't offload him with the coronavirus pandemic. A lot of clubs didn't have the finances to bring in Jorginho. Of course, Mauricio Sarri got sacked to Juventus, so that ruled out Juventus, and then Arsenal interested, but Chelsea wanted a permanent deal for Jorginho, and unfortunately we couldn't receive it. For me, I think technically Jorginho is better than Declan Rice. He has more technical ability, he's better on the ball, he's a lot older, he has more experience, and he's simply a world-class player, which Declan Rice, in my opinion, is not at that level yet. So for me, it really poses a question, when we already have the better player, why are we trying to offload Jorginho for Declan Rice? And for me, the only answer could be that Declan Rice has got, obviously Premier League experience, he's English, he's got more leadership qualities, he's stronger, he's physically built better, he's more athletic. So I understand it from that point of view, but then it really poses a question, do we need to waste that much money on him? I mean, let's be serious. How much is Declan Rice going to cost? West Ham were commanding around 70 to 80 million pounds in the summer window that just went, and unfortunately we couldn't get the deal. And think of it this way, we're trying to plot a move for Declan Rice in the upcoming January transfer window, but why would West Ham logically let their most prized asset, their best player, leave mid-season? It wouldn't make sense. West Ham, they're going to be fighting for relegation. They want to secure the highest finish they could possibly can this season. By letting go of their best player, their most prized asset, they're not going to let him go for cheap. Even if he forces the move, they're not going to let him go for cheap. We're talking here minimum £80 million. I don't think that's financially, responsible. I don't think that's realistic. And I think that there's much better options on the market, which we could sign, in my opinion, that would be a better alternative to Declan Rice. Not only cheaper, but in my opinion, better. There's players on the market such as Husamawa, Bruno Guimaraes, from both of those players are from Lyon. You got Souamare from Lille in the French league. So I think that there's much better players, cheaper alternatives that we can get in the January transfer window, who would be, still suits Lampard's characteristics in that system. But of course, if Lampard wants Declan Rice as a first choice and we can get a reasonable deal and we can negotiate with West Ham, then by all means we should be backing Frank Lampard and getting his first choice targets. He proved me wrong on Chilwell. I didn't believe Chilwell was the man to take us forwards, but he's been arguably our summer of the signing. Our summer signing alongside Edouard Mendy, and for me he has genuinely been tremendous. So I think that Declan Rice will be an upgrade on what we have, especially with the system Lampard wants to play going forward, its philosophy. And of course, the leadership skills will help and support. And I think, yes, Chelsea will try and get Declan Rice in January transfer window. I just don't think we will secure him because, of course, West Ham are going to be commanding a lot of money, an extortionate price for him. But for me, it is really a case of why I don't think we need him. We've got Ethan Ampadu, who's on loan at Sheffield United. Chris Wilder spoke very highly of him, saying he's one of Chelsea's best products, saying that, Frank Lampard sees him as a natural sitting DM. And I think that with that Premier League experience this season, I think that, we've already got a player who's from our academy, not from our academy, but essentially our player for free, who can, in my opinion, be even better and has higher potential than Declan Rice in that position. When you have a player that's ready-made, why would you go out and spend £80 million on Declan Rice? For me, it makes no sense whatsoever. You've got Billy Gilmour as well. What happens to the future Billy Gilmour? He's returned to training after his surgery. That wouldn't make any sense. What's going to happen to the future of Billy Gilmour? What's going to happen to his playing time? If we sign Declan Rice, that means that probably Billy Gilmour and Ethan Ampadu would have to be loaned again to another Premier League club next season. But that doesn't make any financial sense. So for me, I don't see this making too much sense. But leave me your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. Would you love to see Declan Rice at Chelsea? Or if not, do you agree with me? Leave me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. But getting on to the final part, I want to speak about Christian Pulisic. Now, I did speak about Christian Pulisic a little bit yesterday because, of course, he was injured in the warm-up against Burnley. And, of course, we confirmed yesterday that it was another reoccurring hamstring injury, which I stressed that was worrying for us. Now, it has come out that he had a scan last night, broken by Simon Johnson, again a very reliable journalist, and there has been an update on when he's going to be returning. He's got the results of the scan, and we now have a more of a clearer picture of when Christian Pulisic will be returning to action. Now, apparently Lampard has reportedly now said this will be weeks. Potential target to return is a Newcastle game. And now the Newcastle game is going to be on the 21st of November. As I record this video, it is the 3rd of November. So it is 18 days away as I speak. Now 18 days, that is the potential target. Now we know that with Pulisic's, fragile hamstring and of course his history of it, we are going to want to take it slow with him. And of course we know that with our medical team not being the best, and of course we don't usually, return players when we expect. I do believe that it will be at least 3 weeks before we see Christian Pulisic in action, which is a massive, massive disappointment. Yes, it could have been a lot worse, but it's frustrating. He's just returned from injury. He's just scored against Russia, against Krasnodar midweek. He was just finding his feet again, and bam, again he's injured. It's really, really disappointing, and it's something that we have to keep an eye on, we have to nurture, we have to make sure that, when he does return, we don't, rush him back, make sure that he comes comfortably and he's raring to go when he comes back. But for me, it looks like minimum of 2 to 3 weeks before we even see anything of Christian Pulisic in action, which is a massive, massive disappointment. There is nothing we can do about that. And hopefully, Christian Pulisic does have a nice, speedy recovery. Again, hamstring, it's a muscular injury. It's an injury that, you don't want as a footballer. You have to look after very carefully. Because if your hamstring is dodgy, unfortunately, you're not going to stay fit for a long time. So for me, we have to look after it carefully. And I think that once we get 100% fully fit Christian Pulisic back into the starting 11, we will see the best out of him. And yeah, he will elevate our team. So it is unfortunate, but we wish him a speedy recovery, and hopefully he will be raring to go in the next 3 to 4 weeks. But I am going to be wrapping up the Chelsea transfer news ready video for you guys. If you did enjoy this video, if you could smash the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you're notified for every time I upload. Don't miss a video of mine. I am uploading every day around this time, 10 to 11 in the morning. That is the time I upload. I'm uploading daily now, daily videos on this channel, Mr. Consistent. Make sure you hit the bell notification, subscribe, smash the like button, and please leave me your thoughts, please. I want to interact with you guys, see what you guys think on the Declan Rice situation, and of course the Christian Pulisic situation. Are you disappointed? Yes, you know, it really could have been a lot worse, but there it is. We can't do anything about that. But I will see you guys for my next video. Peace.